Litecoin creator Charlie Lee has been pretty vocal on Twitter lately, saying NFT prices will eventually crash. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. What's happening, guys? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. Don't forget, before we get into this, with every video, we're doing a Nano giveaway. I'm giving away 0.1 Nano to 5 people who comment on the video and drop either a WeNano username or a Nano address. Right now, it's easy. Just drop, if you want to drop a comment talking about what I've talked about in the video, cool. If you just want to drop your address and nothing else, that's cool as well. I may start doing something if this winds up picking up, where maybe we have a code word inserted somewhere into the video, so you actually have to watch the video to get the code word, or wait for somebody else to drop the code word and then just copy them. But we may start doing something like that, but we're giving away free Nano with every video. So I've been talking a lot about NFTs. I tend to kind of get obsessed with topics and go in and in and in and in on them. So if you guys kind of get sick of the NFT thing, let me know and I'll kind of move on to other content. But I just kind of think everything going on with the space is very fascinating. Now, I don't want to be like trashing NFTs all the time. I do think it's kind of cool. And I think the technology and the concept and the idea behind NFTs will eventually go somewhere. And I do think it will be a big thing. But like CryptoKitties, which kind of crashed and burned and everybody kind of got tired of and forgot about, I think the same thing is going to happen with the NFT art place, the NFT marketplace as a whole. Now, Charlie Lee kind of echoed some of the things that I talked about in my recent video. I think I put out a video a day or two ago saying why the NFT art marketplace will eventually crash. And kind of my big point there was that there's no end collector, right? Like with most, with every marketplace, whether it's baseball cards, historical items, memorabilia, etc. Yeah, there's people who are in the space to flip and resell and make money, but there are actually some people out there who are true collectors and actually want to collect these items. But I think when a marketplace is nothing but speculators, it can't survive because of the laws of supply and demand. And I don't think I said that eloquently enough in a past video, but that's essentially what I was getting at. And that's kind of what Charlie Lee said. He said, eventually supply is going to outpace demand and the market's just going to crash. And why supply is going to outpace demand? And I thought this was an interesting take from Charlie Lee. Charlie Lee says in the real art world, there's a cost to creating art, right? Like creating a painting, creating a sculpture, a statue. Actually, I kind of take that back. I'm sure somebody else will say this. Recently, a banana duct taped to a wall sold for a couple $1 million. Now, that took no time whatsoever. I think most people realize that's really stupid. Obviously, that kind of became an online trend where like every e-commerce company was taping their product to the wall with duct tape. And it kind of became kind of got a little bit of a buzz online. But I think most people agree that that's like not really art and it's kind of stupid. But in terms of what most people value and respect as art, there's the cost of supplies, right? Like, I don't know if any of you guys are into like arts or crafts of any type. I'm actually this week getting ready to do some pour over painting on terracotta pots. I was going to do something for my girlfriend for her birthday. But it cost me like $30 or $40 in art supply. I had to go buy acrylic paints. I had to buy some type of acrylic thinner for the paints. I had to buy some terracotta pots, cups, stirring sticks. And even once I have these supplies, there's time I'm investing into, quote unquote, creating this art. Same with a painting. Canvases aren't cheap. Paints aren't cheap. It takes a long time to paint a piece of art. Think about how long it took to paint the Sistine Chapel. What was it, like years, if not like a decade or more? Look at like Mount Rushmore. How long did Mount Rushmore or Crazy Horse take to create? Like, Charlie Lee kind of makes the argument that creating art is an investment in supplies as well as an investment in time and energy, and in a way that's kind of like staking, whereas NFT art, and don't get me wrong, there are some great NFT artists out there who actually do put out good art. It's digital art, but it is art that has taken them a lot of time to create. But more often than not, if you go look on Rarible or if you go look on OpenSea, most of the art is literally somebody taking a meme off the internet, copying and pasting it, and listing it on Rarible or OpenSea, or somebody, superimposing one image over another image, or putting a filter on an image, or, taking some cartoon character offline and putting it on Rarible or OpenSea. You could literally crank out hundreds of pieces of art an hour, and really the only cost to doing so, very little time invested, because most of the art doesn't seem to require a lot of time, very little time invested, and it really doesn't cost anything to create a piece of digital art like it does to create a piece of physical art. But without further ado, let's get into this article from Cointelegraph. This one's about 2 weeks old. NFT prices will eventually crash, says Litecoin creator Charlie Lee. Non-fungible tokens are currently a major topic of discussion within the crypto space, with creators and collectors alike jumping on the bandwagon. However, Litecoin LTC creator Charlie Lee is of the opinion that the hype is unsustainable. Tweeting on Monday, Lee said that unlike quote-unquote real art, NFTs have zero cost of creation. Really, the only cost to create an NFT is the gas fees, which can be like $50, $60 to put up a piece of art. It can be as low as maybe $6 or $8. Actually, I think I've thrown something up there for $5. But really, that's the only fee to create NFT art is a gas fee. So in a sense, the only real value behind a NFT piece of art is the gas fee that it costs to put it up. Let's see, here's Charlie Lee's tweet. Charlie Lee says, NFTs, on the other hand, create artificial scarcity because of the near zero cost to create another NFT. The market will eventually be flooded with NFTs from artists trying to cash in on this craze. Supply will overwhelm demand and the prices will eventually crash. And that's what I meant when I said, you have to have some real collectors in the marketplace. It can't be all speculators. With all that said, I'm willing to be proven wrong. I created a unique NFT with my profile pic. It cost me nothing. Will accept the ridiculous ETH gas fee and no effort at all. Prove me wrong and show me that this has value. So essentially saying, like, basically he's challenging people. If you believe NFTs have value, which I don't, go ahead and give me money for a picture of myself. According to Lee, artists in the real world are constrained by time and effort, likening this limitation to proof of work. For Lee, this restriction creates scarcity and therefore value for art pieces created by famous artists. NFTs, on the other hand, create artificial scarcity, Lee tweeted, adding, because of the zero cost to create another NFT, the market will eventually be flooded with NFTs from artists trying to cash in on this craze. Supply will overwhelm demand and the prices will eventually crash. Lee's comments are a common criticism of NFTs, a la right-click and save. However, there are arguments to be made for the art scene, both real-world and digital, being flooded by reproductions. The value of an art piece often depends on the artist, with collectors paying attention to the creator of the art, thus distinguishing it from other copycat pieces. Indeed, the ability to cryptographically sign art pieces is another oft-attributed benefit of NFTs, allowing artists to include metadata, file links, and other necessary copyright elements. The NFT scarcity becomes an expression of consensus, which is why an ultra-rare alien CryptoPunk sold for 605 ETH back in January. While it would be possible to recreate this rare item, it would not be part of the collection created by Larva Labs in 2017. Hashmask, another NFT, created 16,384 cards, selling out over $10 million worth in its first 4 days, as previously reported by Cointelegraph. Lee's critique also seems to limit NFTs to art, rather than looking at the wider collectible scene with elements such as in-game assets and digital land. Earlier in February, 9 digital plots of land on the virtual realm Lunacia sold for about $1.5 million. And that's why I don't think NFTs are necessarily bullshit in and of themselves, but I do think people copying and pasting an image off of Google Images and throwing it on an NFT art marketplace is kind of bullshit and is all hype. And that seems to be a good portion, if not the majority, of what is on a lot of these platforms right now. And I think Charlie Lee's onto something, right? Like, personally, I would never pay money for, a virtual piece of land in a video game. I would never pay money to have a certain hat on my CSGO character, or a gold AK-47 that doesn't actually improve my performance in a video game, but just looks cool. But I'm not. It doesn't really matter what I think. There are people out there who are into gaming who are willing to pay big money for this. When I look at some of my younger nieces and nephews and things like that, and they're stealing their mom's credit card and buying digital assets on games, obviously there are people who are really into this, especially kind of the younger crowd and gamers. And I think that's a much more, what's the word I'm looking for? A much more valuable way to use NFTs than just creating like a GIF or a JPEG image that somebody's going to pay for and can't do anything with. Like, at least if you buy a virtual world or a virtual land or an island in a video game, like, that's your piece of land. You can do stuff with it. If you buy a character or an outfit or a gun in a video game, at least you can use that. Other people can see it. You're playing the video game all the time. But I just don't understand what I'm supposed to do with a GIF or a JPEG file or a PNG file. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Drop a comment down below. Don't forget to drop your WeNano username and or address with it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below. Ring the bell, and we'll catch you on the next video.